create your social media strategy, here's what you need to do. You start with your goals. What is it that you want to accomplish and who do you want to reach? You need to decide that both for yourselves as a company as well as for your field. And they may be two very different things. Next, you need to develop policies and procedures. Policies for social media are critical to your overall policies. Make sure you've got them in there. Because otherwise, your distributors are going to get out there and they're going to do stuff you don't like. Because they don't necessarily have all those edit buttons in their heads. Okay? So you need to be there to provide guidance and be the leader. You need to develop an online social media presence yourself as a company. Field training and train your distributors, essential. And too often companies do that as an afterthought. I advise companies to launch social media training the same day they launch a presence, okay? Because people need to know how to use it. You're going to ongoing publish content, build relationships and communities. And the whole idea is that you're driving traffic into these sales and recruiting funnels because people you meet them at their point of need through the content marketing. And little by little, you begin to engage them, build relationships, both you as the company as well as your distributors doing this, get them onto your list so you can market more specifically to them and hopefully eventually convert those prospects into sales and recruits. And finally, you need to monitor your results. It's not enough to do all that and then you're done. You got to look at the numbers at the end and say, is this doing what we expect it to? And if it's not, where do we need to make adjustments? That's an ongoing process. So policies, this is very, very important. You need to think about what are you currently allowing distributors to do or what is it that you plan to allow them to do online? You need to think about, are you going to allow them to sell through online websites? I highly recommend you include replicated websites as part of your strategy because most distributors today expect that. Are you going to allow them to blog? Right now, we're kind of split on this issue in the industry. A lot of people in the health and wellness realms are very nervous about that and the whole product claim issue, and you should be nervous. But at the same time, blogs are a tremendous way to provide content and to begin to build relationships and get leads. So, you got to weigh those two. How can distributors identify themselves online? A lot of times, I suggest to my clients that they set up an independent distributor logo, which is separate from your main corporate logo. That way, it's very clear to the consumer who it is they're dealing with. Is this a corporate presence, or is this an independent distributor? You also need to think about your trademarks, your logos. What are they allowed to use? That all needs to be very clearly spelled out. You don't want them to set up a domain name that makes people think that they're going to the corporate site when actually they're showing up at a distributor site. And you got to be careful of unethical SEO practices. You need to be prepared for that so that distributors aren't coming up before you are as a company in the Google rankings. When you're setting up your templates for business cards, are you allowing them to include social networking contacts? You should. Is there a place for them to put their Facebook and their Twitter handle, all that good stuff? Because what I love to do as a party plan person especially, but you could do it with as a distributor for an MLM as well, at the end of every sale you say, if you join my customer group, just connect with me on Facebook, join my customer group, and you'll have access to specials and deals and some fun events that I run. Well, guess what? That person connects with you, they're going to hear from you regularly. Let's be honest, our distributors don't call everybody on, with all the follow-up calls they're supposed to. But Facebook is easy because you pop up in their stream. So that really helps with that follow-up. And then you need to teach the difference between networking as opposed to spamming. People need to understand that when you're using social media for business, it is not, here's my product. Buy my stuff. Join my team. Yuck. Zango has a great video that they did where this guy is walking in New York with a bullhorn. Would you like to join my downline? We would never do that in real life, but we think it's okay in social media, and it's not. And it's up to you to teach your folks what is right and what is not right. You really need to think about in your policies how you will maintain the integrity of your brand. You know, how are you going to be portrayed online? What's allowed, what's not? And finally, what is appropriate? And who gets to decide what is appropriate online? You need to spell that out for them. And then for training, they need to understand, first of all, what's the difference between social media for personal use and social media for business, because these are two very different things. And a lot of times your distributors are going to come in and say, well, I've been using Facebook. I know how to use it. But the way that you use it to market a business is very different. And sometimes they need to go through those profiles and clean them up. And you need to be prepared to show them what to do. They need to be taught etiquette. They need to be taught how to create a strategic social media plan for their own businesses, or they're going to spend all day playing Farmville. And we don't want that. That's not income-producing activities. They need to be taught what content marketing is and how to use it. They need to be shown what the policy is. And as much as I love Spencer and his ability to write the greatest policy known to man, right, Spencer? Spencer and Steve, the greatest policy writers ever. They need it put in English, too, so that they understand what it is. So in your social media 101 training, give them the highlights so they get it. They need to be taught time management techniques, so they're not spending all day in front of the computer and think that they worked their business that day. You need to teach specific tools that you'll be supporting them in using, such as Facebook. And finally, they need to understand that this is just one little part of their overall marketing strategy for their business. This is not their core business. So there is this very careful line between emphasizing social media to the point where that's all that they do, and teaching it in balance with the core business, and making it clear to them how to balance that. And finally, you need to monitor and measure. You need to take a look at your site analytics. You're looking at things like how many people are coming to your site? How much time are they spending? Are they achieving the conversion objectives you've set up? For example, is one of your conversion objectives the fact that you want them to sign up for a list? Is it that you want them to make a purchase? Is it that you want them to sign up for the opportunity? Is it that you want them to find a distributor? Whatever it is, you need to make sure that those conversion objectives are happening. Are you seeing increased site traffic? Are you seeing an increase in company mentions and sentiment online throughout the web? You want to see a growth of the community, more and more people engaging with your brand. You want your mailing list to go up. Hopefully, you're going to see an increase in attendance at your recruiting and your sales events, which will hopefully result in increased sales and recruiting, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about.